Obviously, very, very excited about the win. Proud of our guys showing some resilience. We got down. As a coach, you got to believe in your veterans, believe in your players. AJ, once again, has stepped up in a critical situation, and he's delivered. His numbers are not showing his development yet. I thought he really grew up today. I thought we played a very, very physical team in DePaul. You can see their development as a team, and they haven't played in almost 9-10 months. They've only played 2 games. So I think you got to give their staff and their players a lot of credit, to come on the road to be that competitive and, damn near have the game won. But it was, it showed some maturity on our behalf, being able to bounce back from a loss on the road and, being down 3 with 15, 16 seconds left on the clock. Credit to the players being able to execute a game plan coming down the stretch. I thought both teams played hard. Both teams made some timely shots, and we were really fortunate to win. But I really love the DePaul team. I love what coach has done with them, to do what they've done, and only in their second game, it's a Big East game, to be that competitive. And, we're really fortunate to win, and I'm just excited to walk away with the win, and we move on and prepare for a very good Butler team that we just played a couple of days ago. You guys could talk to the players next, and then I've never moderated some of this shit here, so you guys got to figure that out. All right.
AJ, take us through your game-tying shot at the end of regulation.
We knew that Charlie Moore had a great chance of making both free throws because he's really a player. So we've been in this position before, down 3. Need a 3 to tie it up, and we ran a play, executed it really well, and we got the shot off, got a clean look at it, and I delivered.
AJ, I think this can go for you, and also if Coach wants to as well. But what changed? Because before this game, you were struggling a little bit as far as the media was talking about, and at one point the media was talking about possibly even as making a case that you probably shouldn't have even been starting. But what changed? What is it? Is it just the media was just completely off? What was it that flipped the switch for you today?
Hold on, before he answers that, but well before he answers that, what the media says about my program has nothing to do with the way my players will ever think. I am the head coach of this organization, and I believe in my seniors. I believe in my juniors. What you guys say and what you feel about our players is really irrelevant. I appreciate your question, and AJ can answer that the best he can, but none of you all pay me. None of you all are in charge of me. So I'm going to do what I know is right for my players. I think it's a great question, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to answer that as part of what I'm doing with my program. Now, AJ, you roll it the best way you can. Reed, tough question, but be prepared for a big boy answer on that one, baby.
I really, just like Coach said, we don't really try to let the outside noise really get to us. I really don't know.
That's what my boy does. He shoots.
I don't deliver tonight. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that one.
I'm not saying that was my opinion. I was just based on my research. I know. I've seen you play before. Well, I know how well you can play. You go off all the time. I'm just going based off. I was just from my research. I was just wondering. It's not my opinion. I'm just asking.
All right. Let's bring this back here. AJ, how much credit does David deserve in switching with you on that game-tying 3, and how much does that speak to the court awareness, on his part to try to get you in a sweet spot?
We've been watching a lot of film this year, just trying to get guys in their hot spots and, where they usually deliver. And, I'm really comfortable on that right wing. As you can see, we ran that play before, and, we do dummy offense every day. So today we executed really well, and we got good results out of it.
AJ, you surprised at this point, late in games, teams let you open, when you guys need 3?
I mean, I wouldn't say surprised, but They got to be a little smarter. But, I mean, I don't want to say too much because then I don't want teams to be, cracking down when it's crunch time,
For sure. Nate, for you, talk to me how you adjusted. Obviously they're throwing the double team, triple team at you early. You finished with 18 and 14. How did you kind of let the game come to you and find those easy baskets around the rim?
I'm not gonna lie, I almost lost my composure, but coach stuck with me. He stayed believing his veterans, and they were double teaming me at first, and then so coach drew up some plays where I just could just turn and finish, and so that worked, and so we kept going to it.
So is it a good lesson, kind of going down the line, knowing that you're going to get it and that there's going to be shooters out to kind of pass to on the perimeter?
Yeah, definitely got to keep my composure next game because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nate, how important was it to start this 3-game homestand with the win that, you built some confidence into your rematch with Butler on Wednesday night?
Oh, it's very important. We had a tough loss, but we're back in the home gym for a home stretch. Everybody got their confidence going. AJ's knocking down shots, his confidence rolling. So we're ready to get these few home game wins. And how nice to see Noah contribute today in the fashion he did. Oh, it was very nice. I was really happy for him. He's been telling me that he was struggling a little bit, but now he got his feet under him, got his feet wet today, and I'm just happy for the kid.
Hey, Nate, how much did that loss to Butler kind of stay with you guys through the holiday and whatnot, and now you have a chance to get them back on Wednesday?
Yeah, man. I was disappointed that we lost, but it was Christmas. We had a great meal. We talked about the loss and what we can do to win next game. And we play Butler in a few days, so we know what they do. So we're just ready to go out there and win.
AJ, we've heard Coach talk about what kind of person you are, how hard you work. How nice was it to be rewarded today with a really good performance, scoring, making shots, sort of being in the rhythm of the offense like you were?
It was awesome. It just lets me know that, what we're doing off the court or not during practice and what we're doing, workout-wise is working and paying off. So, we just got to keep up with it and keep the routine. I think the biggest thing and, making shots and everything, just having the routine of getting in the gym every day and just getting a lot of reps up.
And Nate, just on the pick and roll at the end with Jared, was that the play drawn up in the huddle, and how well was it executed between the two of you guys?
I don't necessarily remember if that was a play drawn up in the huddle, but we have multiple reads for every play. So if one thing doesn't work, something else is going to work, and so that worked.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions for the players? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We'll come back to Ed now.
You just leave. Arthur, do I leave this or?
Ed, 2 out of your 3 Big East games and the 2 that you've won have come from overtime. Just what do you see out of your guys when the going gets tough in those extra frames there?
He took a walk. He'll be back.
Ed's muted.
My bad.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
We practice a lot of close situations in practice. You try to give as much game situations. I mean, a lot of these games come down to 1 or 2 possessions here or there. So you try to do the best you can with your staff and with your players to put them in a situation under duress and practice those things. So we've been really fortunate to be victorious in the overtime segments.
Ed, after the game at Butler where AJ obviously struggles, what do you say to him? Obviously, he's still on campus. I'm curious what you guys did on Christmas Day. Do you just grab him at one point and say, you obviously need him to be successful this year?
Well, we had a great meal Christmas Eve, and we didn't talk about the game. I think especially some of those veteran players, they know what they got to do. We got in the gym on Christmas morning. We did a lot of shooting, and some of it's rhythm, some of it's confidence, some of it is just, we wasn't fortunate where the ball fell in. But what I want our players to always know, regardless of what your number says, I believe in the person, not the number. Now, defensively, teams may look at you differently and try to play you strategically different. But I've seen enough in practice where you give those guys freedom and you give them confidence and you instill that confidence in them, you get these results. So hopefully he continues to make shots for us, because he's a major weapon, and we're going to need him if we're going to be competitive in the Big East. He's a junior. He's played a lot of games. And again, he's made some big shots in his 3 years here, and he continues to make them. And, when the game's on the line, he's somebody we look to go to.
Ed, I'm curious, obviously in the second overtime, the defense really got the job done. It took you a while to shut them down, but can you just speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we're so far behind defensively, and that's the one thing since we've been here at Providence, we've been able to at least hang our hat on. We may not be the prettiest offensive team in the country, but for the most part, we try to grind you and defend you and, take away the three. So we're still a work in progress, and we just happened to turn it up that second overtime and made some good adjustments. I give the staff a lot of credit for some of the things that we've been able to do. And, we got some key stops when we needed and some key rebounds. What y'all are not talking about was a couple of strips that I think AJ had. I mean, really, really, really big time turnovers. And then the strip at the end of the first overtime that forced the second overtime. So, good team win. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and hopefully we can continue to get better.
And building off of that, from your vantage point, your bench, you were right behind Moore. I would imagine you could see how open the lane was that he was going to drive into.
Yeah.
What did you see when AJ reached out and was able to strip it from him there?
I saw divine providence strip the ball. I was like, wow, it looked like the Red Sea parting. And, and that's where length comes in. I thought our length in those particular instances made a big, big difference to cover up our lack of our lateral quickness. Our length was able to recover on that, because you're right. I had a clear view, and I'm like, ooh, man, clear view down the lane. So good for our length in that situation.
And the length clearly paid dividends there late. But how about earlier in the game when you implement the three-quarter court pressure, 1-2-2, whatever you want to call it on your end? What did you like about that performance from your guys today?
Well, it gives us a little bit of energy. It allows us to stretch the floor a little bit. Jimmy Nichols is a long drink of water. He covers a lot of ground. In order for us to continue to improve defensively, our discipline has to continue to improve. I thought we had a lot of mental breakdowns defensively, a little bit of carryover from the Butler game, although I think we got better today. But we're a long way away from the team we want to be defensively. If we could avoid those breakdowns, a point here or there goes a long, long way.
And then one more for me. David played 49 of 50 minutes today. I mean, how much does that make your life easier as a coach when one guy's going to be out there for the majority of the time?
You guys remember when we had a gentleman by the name of Bryce Cotton? He averaged for the season 42 minutes a game. The kid is in great shape. He's a workhorse, and if he wants to come out, I'll call a timeout. He's going to be on the floor as long as he can. He's somebody that I've seen his conditioning and his routine. If you all saw it, is amazing, and that's why he's able to play that many minutes and play at an elite level. Hey, we'll rest him tomorrow, though. I can tell you that.
Ed, what about the execution on the pick and roll between Jared and Nate for the dunk there? What was discussed in the timeout, and what did you ultimately see them put together?
Well, we tried to draw something up to get Nate the ball on the interior, they did a really good job of taking that option away. And then, that really was Jared's call for the side ball screen. And if you recall, they just made a substitution. I think Paulie Cap had fouled out and Big Fella came in. So their ball screen coverage changed with their personnel. And it was a really good recognition dump down by Jared. I thought that was, to me, a really, really big point of the game. I think, did that put us up 3 or 5, I believe?
Up 5. Yeah.
I think that was, game, set, match on that one there. And it just was a matter if we can make some free throws coming down the stretch. But that was a player's call. That did not come from the bench.
Ed, fair to say that this was Noah's best game for you in a Fire uniform, and how big can this be for him going forward?
I would agree with you on that. You know, it takes time to adjust. You know, he didn't play all of last year, and we're trying to ride with him to give him some confidence. And I thought he's always been a very good rebounder. We trust him, and I thought he pulled through today. But we're going to need a lot more from him on both ends of the floor as he gets more comfortable playing in the Big East. Night in and night out, these games are going to be like this every single time. Defensively, offensive rhythm, confidence. But I was really proud of him. He did a really good job helping us get a win today.
Any more
Coach.
questions?
Yeah, I have one more question. Coach, I know you touched on this in the beginning. I'm just curious, I just want to follow up. How exactly difficult was it to prepare for a team in DePaul that was shut down and just played their first game back on Wednesday, and they were shut down before that? A lot of their games were postponed due to COVID situations. How exactly difficult was that to prepare for that team, knowing that you didn't really have that much film on them?
Great question, Reed. Really, really good question, because we did struggle with that. We went back and tried to see what they did last year against us. When you have somebody that hasn't played a lot of games, you got to look more toward personnel more so than system. And they had a lot of new faces out there. The remaining, the faces that carried over were, Weems, who played well. He's one of the best players in the league. Moore, one of the better players in the league, and them two performed at an elite level today. Ogenda, who's improving as a shot blocker, long rim runner. And then we did a little bit of personnel from the last game. They had a little bit of carryover from last game, but it is very difficult when, there's not a lot of film on anybody. One game, and, they played great at home and made a lot of shots. So, I think they've made 23s in 2 games. I think they made 10 the last game and 10 today. So, they'll be reckoning within the Big East, and they're missing one of their better players in Butts. I like the group. I like his group. We got to be prepared whenever we go down there to play them again, because we'll be on the road. I'm just happy we were able to protect home court. What a lot of you all are not seeing is the pressure that our players are under during this pandemic, where they've been here, be the gym, the car, the plane, the bus, the room. So their emotional well-being, we got to try to keep up the best we can, and that's something that you guys got to be extremely sensitive to around the country. Yeah, we want to play basketball games, but at the same time, we're still dealing with young, fragile 18 to 22-year-olds that are really struggling. And some of these kids haven't touched their loved ones in months. So, please be conscientious. As much as we want to play, you also got to, take a step back. Many of you are home with your loved ones. You're able to touch your children and your families and, your spouses and partners. Our kids aren't. So as a dad, I got some empathy for these kids.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks
Friars
a
will
lot.
return to action on Wednesday. They play Butler at 5 p.m. on FS1. That is the Friars' second overtime game this year and first one since 2019. Okay.